Hey everyone, welcome to Bad Beat Sports Betting Conference Championship Weekend. 3 games left to play in the NFL season. How's it going, Steve?
It's going well. This is actually the conference championship I imagined heading into the playoffs. So,
Oh, this was in your bracket.
yeah. The only thing I
I
really gotten wrong was I thought the Steelers would really beat the. I thought the Seahawks would beat the Rams and the Steelers would beat the Browns. But other than that, like this is exactly. But I didn't think they would make it to the final four. These are the teams I imagined making it to the final four, heading into it.
yeah. Well, it's funny. I feel like this. Well, everyone was picking the Chiefs, obviously, to go to the Super Bowl at the beginning of the season, and I feel like the majority of the other people were picking the Packers or the Buccaneers to make it out of the NFC. So I feel like a lot of people still have their Super Bowl matchup alive. I don't know how many people had the Bills realistically going in. I thought that they would make it. I thought they would win playoff games for sure, but even I didn't think that they would be this good coming out of the regular season and after the first 2 rounds. And they haven't played their best game yet, by the way. We'll get to that a little bit later. So last week, I was abysmal, as I've been through a lot of the playoffs betting without my head. You were actually 4-0.
Yeah, I was kind of. I was kind of betting. The only real gamble I took was the Bucks money line, which I didn't find it a gamble against the Saints. I really didn't. I said that last week. I just had a feeling that Brady was not going to lose. I mean, not just Brady. That whole team, the talent. That team has so much talent on offense. I just did not see them losing 3 this season to the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints just didn't look good. I guess it was Drew Brees' last game since he retired, but it was not fun watching him
And
on Saturday night or
you
Sunday
almost
night, whichever night
made
it
it
was.
big though with the Browns money line. You were pretty close.
Yeah, I almost got lucky with Mahomes having, I guess, not a concussion now because he's playing on Sunday.
He has a concussion. The NFL is
Yeah,
just
he has a
like
concussion.
they're just like we can't not have Mahomes in this.
Yeah, it's funny. I was out during that, and I looked down. It was the 3rd and 14, I think it was, with Chad Henne, and I give him props. He took off and he got to the 4th and 1, and then they had the guts to complete it, so they earned that win. But I wish the Browns could have pulled that one out. I don't know why Kevin Stefanski punted in the 4th quarter of a playoff game, but yeah, and also I feel like the Rams could have beat the Packers last week. Aaron Rodgers didn't look great. I think if they intercept that ball, and if Aaron Donald doesn't take that defensive penalty or whatever he got, he took a flag on 3rd down early in the first quarter, and it ended up with a touchdown. I think if those 2 plays go the opposite way, I think the Rams might pull out the game. But I digress. We'll move on to the games this weekend. No Saturday game. Sunday, 3 o'clock, Bucks at Packers. Packers 3.5-point favorites at home. I think it's supposed to be a sub 30-degree temperature, so maybe some chances of snow. Let me look that up now while you give your pick, actually.
So yeah, I'm gonna take obviously the Packers. I think the usual trend here is I take the Packers. You don't. I don't think the cold weather is gonna really factor in with the passing game of the Buccaneers. Brady's played in New England his whole career, so I don't see cold weather affecting him badly now that he's become a snowbird.
Yeah, I agree. He's played in enough cold weather playoff games that it's not going to affect him. Snow likely before 3 p.m. and a slight chance of snow during the game. So, yeah, temperatures near 30 degrees with some precipitation. I actually have a stat. You would think that in snow games, offense would be limited because you can't really throw the ball and you can't run. But since 2017, where did I have this saved? It's from ESPN. Since 2007, Since 2017, all 7 playoff games played in weather of 30 degrees or colder have gone over the total. So if you're betting over unders, just don't bet the under just because of the snow. I'm going with the Buccaneers, like you said, to cover the 3.5. I just think Brady in the playoffs over Rodgers in the playoffs. Rodgers, I think, is 1-3 in championship games in his career. We all know Brady's track record, and I think it plays.
I think it's going to really depend. Are we seeing classic Tom Brady offense or the Bruce Arians version where we're going to try to make Tom Brady throw, the deep ball like 20 times throughout the game? If
I feel like it's going to be a playoff Lenny type of game.
I think if Bruce Arians adjusts and lets Tom be Tom, then I think the Buccaneers would have a good shot. I think it's going to be close regardless, but I'm just banking on the Packers have been rolling all year. I'm banking on Rodgers to finally get over that hump that he hasn't really had success since last decade. And I think I'm just banking on that. I also like the way Davante Adams matches up against the Buccaneers defense. I think it's going to be hard for them to cover him, so I expect to see him have a decent game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Adams will have a nice little game. This game's kind of interesting because it's the opposite of last week, where the Bucs had their bad games against the Saints during the regular season. The Packers had their arguably worst game against the Buccaneers. They went up 10-0 early. Rodgers had 3 turnovers, very uncharacteristic. So we'll see if they could if the Buccaneers could keep that same formula to stump the Packers a little bit. I think their key is to run the ball. They have an offensive line where they could probably push around the front 7, keep the 2 Smiths, Preston Smith and Zaire Smith, from getting into the backfield because you're just running downhill and making them kind of respect Leonard Fournette and Keyshawn Vaughn. If Keyshawn Vaughn touches the ball again, he's been fumbling a lot.
I don't imagine that Rodgers is going to turn over at the rate he did in that earlier game. He turned the ball over 0 times against that Rams defense, which is arguably the best defense.
Let's be fair, because I took him to throw 1 interception or more.
That's why
he did throw one right into the hands of the Rams defender twice, and they dropped it. So that I was just having bad luck that day. But yeah, I don't think he's going to turn it over 3 times. I think either way, the Packers, their recipe for winning during the season and during the playoffs is just to get up big and not let you come back because you're intimidated by Lambeau Field or the Packers' star power. Tom Brady's not going to be intimidated by a 10 or 14-point deficit if they get down. So I feel like they'll be able to come back late in the game, and it's tough. 2 great quarterbacks, but in the playoffs, if it comes down to the last drive, I'm taking Tom Brady over Aaron Rodgers. We spent a while on that game. We got Bills at Chiefs at 6:40, or I guess if they'll probably start whenever 15 minutes after the Bucs and Packers start. I can't see them having any overlap in these games unless it's a snoozer.
And hopefully CBS doesn't mess this one up.
What?
I had when I put on the
oh
Chiefs
yeah, it was
game,
blacked. It was blacked
the
out.
whole New York, apparently all of New York City, CBS was down.
Yeah, I heard about that on the radio. I was streaming, so I was able to see it. But yeah, that's weird that CBS had that.
I missed
issue.
the first 10 minutes of the first quarter.
So you missed a couple of Chiefs touchdowns.
Yeah.
Or 1 Chiefs touchdown. Bills 3.5-point underdogs on the road since Patrick Mahomes is playing now. I have to take the Bills. Everything's trending toward the Chiefs not being able to cover this 3.5-point spread. They haven't covered in 9 games now since week 9 against the Jets. So 9 games, 10 weeks. It just doesn't feel like they're a team that they don't it's hard to repeat as champions and make it every year. And I just don't think that they have the gas this year.
I agree with that. I think they're favorites based off of the name. Honestly, I would say there's more of a pick 'em than anything, which is probably why. I mean, they are home and it is only a 3-point spread, but I think the Bills might just have the winning formula here. I also, like you said, I just like last year. Last year and 2018 when I saw those Chiefs teams. Not that there's a bad Chiefs team, but I just don't think this is the Chiefs team of 2018 and 2019. Also, that run defense. I think the Bills will be able to exploit that pretty easily between Singletary and even Josh Allen.
And also the Bills run, because the Chiefs took advantage of the Bills run defense in their regular season matchup where they won pretty one-sided, even though the score didn't really show it as a blowout. But I think the Bills defense is a little bit better now than it was in the middle of the season. They came together. They got Draymond Edmonds back and all their guys. So I don't think they'll be able to run the ball down the Bills' throat even. Is Clyde Edwards-Helaire healthy? I know he hasn't been.
I'm not sure on that. But I think another factor, too, with the Chiefs' defense against the Bills is if they're going to wind up probably getting too caught up in trying to cover Stephon Diggs, that I think is just going to wind up opening up a lot of... Like, this isn't a super talented defense, in my opinion. It's going to open up a lot of room for the Bills to spread the ball around to other guys.
Yeah, I agree. They're not going to run the ball as much as other teams would with a lead, but they'll do those short passes to Singletary, Cole Beasley, Diggs when he gets open. And I just think I feel like we're going to see two really special plays out of Josh Allen, and he's going to cement himself. He's going to have another statement game because the Bills, they've won 2 games against 2 good teams and 2 good defenses, but they haven't had a really good all-around game in the playoffs. Like the defense won last week against the Ravens, and then the offense did their thing against the Colts. So we'll see. Maybe they put it all together this week. I also have another out there stat from ESPN. Kansas City, we mentioned they haven't covered a spread in a while. They were 7 and they're 7-10 against the spread currently. So they only have 2 games left, so they can't be 500 against the spread. Since the start of football, since they started tracking spreads, no team has ever won the championship with a losing ATS record. So that doesn't look good for the Chiefs. The 2 other teams that went into the conference championships with losing records against the spread were the 2012 Ravens. And I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So I'm taking the Bills.
Yep, me too. Bills money line.
Then it'll give if Josh Allen ends up topping Tom Brady in the Super Bowl, he'll be able Bills fans will be able to say that he beat Tom Brady in the playoffs. Mahomes has never been able to do that. So if it comes down to the 2 of them, that'll be some ammunition in the Bills Mafia argument. Over under 54. I feel like that number's pretty much right. I think the number will be right around there.
Yeah, I'm not even touching those.
But you can get Bills money line for plus 145. So I think we'll both be doing that.
Honestly,
You're in New
Jersey, I jumped the gun. I honestly thought the lines would favor the Bills a little bit more as the week went on, and I took the Bills money line on Wednesday. It was plus 133 at that point.
Because that was before Mahomes started
before
practicing.
Mahomes was officially ruled active.
Yeah.
And I knew he'd be ruled active, but I just thought, I don't know, I thought the line would trend to the Bills a little more.
So now we have some player props. We took them last week. You were just really hot. You hit 3 out of 4. I hit on 2 out of 4. So let's see if we can keep that going. We have 2 this week, 1 for each game. You want to shoot on the Packers game?
Yeah, so for the Packers game, I'm taking This kind of ties into what I said with I don't really think that the Buccaneers will be able to contain Devontae Adams too well. So I'm taking Devontae Adams over 87.5 yards receiving. It's a minus 112 odds. I honestly think Adams will wind up close to 100 this game.
Maybe he'll be a focal point for sure. I'm going with the other side of the ball with Chris Godwin. The Packers have one very good, probably top 5 cornerback, Jair Alexander, and I think he'll be on Mike Evans because Mike Evans is their number 1 receiver. And Antonio Brown's out for this game, so Chris Godwin's going to go up. I think 63.5 is a pretty low number. He's usually around like 5 for 70 on a bad day. And that you can get that, not that great for minus 143, but maybe throw it in with them to win the game and get a nice little parlay there. He was held to 48 yards in the one game that they played this year. But the Bucs ran the ball a lot that game. In the Bills, I'm taking Dawson Knox to score a touchdown and parlaying it with the Bills to win. I feel like he's always a big target in the end zone. He's scored a decent amount this year.
I'm going to take, as I said, I think that Chiefs run defense is a little weak, and I think they're going to get so caught up in trying to stop Diggs that it's going to open up for everyone. So I'm taking Singletary over 39.5 rushing yards. That's also minus 112 odds.
Yeah, I like that one. I like that one a lot. If you didn't put it on the sheet first, I probably would have taken it, to be honest. Singletary's a back who, even if he doesn't get a lot of carries, he tends to have one gashing, like 10 to 15 yard run a game. So I think he'll make the most of his touches and definitely get over 40 yards. So that's it for this week. They posted the Super Bowl odds, like depending on the matchup already. So I just wanted to go through them and see what you think. So Chiefs at Packers. Chiefs would be favored 2.5 in the neutral site.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go with my gut here, and I mean it's almost like my number 1 and my number 2 rule going head to head. The Chiefs have kind of fallen out of favor with the number 1 rule, but not covering as well towards the second half of the season. I would take the Packers here. I would just take the money line. I think, again, the odds of repeating are so hard. And as I said, I just don't see this. I wouldn't be shocked if they won. I don't think anyone's going to be shocked if the Chiefs won. I just personally don't see this Chiefs team repeating.
Yeah, I agree. Unless they have a real statement win against the Bills, I think I would probably take the Packers.
Yeah, based off what I've seen from them so far in the postseason and in the second half of the regular season, I see no reason to bet against the Packers here.
I agree. So then Bills-Packers. It's the same line, just flipped. The NFC team's favored by 2.5.
I would probably have to take the Bills here. It's a little bit of my heart, too, comes into this, as I really do like this Bills team. But I think this Bills team's a little more complete than the Packers. I think the biggest factor would be that Rodgers has more playoff experience than Allen, but other than that, they match up decent well. I think the Bills have a better defense. They both have true number 1 receivers. That'd be fun to that'd be a fun matchup. Diggs on one side of the ball.
That's probably one.
Adams on
1 and 2 in either order. I'd say Adams probably 1, but Diggs is probably a close second.
Yeah, it's almost like a 1A, 1B kind of thing this year. They both. I mean, Diggs has really been phenomenal too.
Yeah, and him and Allen just have it's like they're connected cognitively. Then Chiefs at Buccaneers. Buccaneers, I say at because it is in their home stadium. They'd actually be the first team ever to host a Super Bowl.
That would be pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that.
Too bad it wouldn't be cool. It wouldn't be a fully packed out crowd, unfortunately. But they're gonna get 22,000 in there, just a decent amount.
7,500 of hospitals, first responders. So that's pretty cool.
Probably be the biggest crowd since March 10th or whatever in the United States.
Yeah. And I'm really not sure why. This is the biggest spread with the Chiefs favored by 3.5, which I'm just confused about because it is a home game for the Buccaneers. Like they could spend the 2 weeks in their homes that they live in during the regular season. They could practice on their practice facilities. They don't have to They don't have to travel like the Chiefs would.
It's that, and not just that. Honestly, even though I bet for the Packers, I might throw a little money on this because with the Buccaneers being the underdogs, if Tom Brady gets past the Packers and goes to the Super Bowl, I'm not betting against the Buccaneers. That's my logic in that.
Yeah, I know it's going to be tough because the way I picked this week is that it's Bills Bucks, and I really want to pick the Bills, but how do you pick against Tom Brady? And he'd actually that's the last matchup of the 4, Bills at Buccaneers, with the Bills also favored by 1.5. I just feel like you're undervaluing the Bucks. If they can get past the Packers, I just don't think Tom Brady's losing in the Super Bowl.
My same logic applies to that. I'm not picking against Tom Brady, even though I love the Bills.
Yeah, that would be tough. But yeah, so we'll see if that's how they stand. I'm sure there'll be some line movement. I guess if you bet like the money line for one of the teams in one of the matchups and the matchup doesn't happen, you probably get a refund of your money, I would think.
Do you? Or I feel like it takes into account the idea that you're betting on those teams to win this week too.
That's true. Yeah, I wonder what. I'll have to look up the rules on that.
I'll slide $15 on the Buccaneers to beat the Chiefs. See what happens with that one.
Yeah, we'll see. We got any closing remarks? I guess we'll have one more show next week. Probably very prop heavy, if I had to think.
Yeah. Well, wait, is the Super Bowl's the 6th or?
Oh yeah, we have a bye week, so we'll be able to rest up.
Unless we want to do. I don't think there's really much to cover. We'll probably just take next week off then.
Yeah.
Unless I could come up with something we can cover for next week, we'll probably just want to take it off.
Yeah. All right, cool. So yeah, I think it'll be an exciting. Last week, did you think the games were good? Because I know a lot of people didn't think that they were enjoyable. But like the Bills Ravens game, I was on the edge of my seat with pretty much every play.
Yeah, I feel like people are probably just saying that because you expected
big score.
Not just big score. You expect to see Lamar Jackson play the entire game. You expect to see Mahomes play the entire game, and you didn't get that. Two of the biggest quarterback names in the NFL not completing their game, but I didn't think they were bad games. I thought, even when Mahomes went out, that Browns-Chiefs game was fun till the very end. It came down.
If anything, that probably made the game more fun because Mahomes might have separated the game a little bit.
Came down to a bold decision by Andy Reid, really.
Mm-hmm. And Eric Bieniemy, since they're tied together, apparently. But yeah, cool.
Exciting. We're getting down to the wire. I'm going to miss football. We have no XFL this year, unlike last year.
Yeah, no XFL. I guess, when's it coming back? 2022?
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I guess it's going to take some time. I know The Rock bought it, but.
Mm. Yeah, it was a success. If you think about it, a lot of players on rosters this year played in the XFL, and it was entertaining. It also did. I know I said this last episode or 2 episodes ago, but it also, I think, spearheaded the sports gambling movement because they were the first league to really embrace it, putting the lines on the screen. So
yeah, I don't think. I think it would have still been in Vince McMahon's hands if it wasn't for COVID, because I think it's really just COVID. I think he figured he needed that money to keep, his main business going because they lost, I think probably going into it, the XFL probably was a loss of revenue even if COVID didn't happen. And that's probably something I would imagine they projected, a brand new league, but they probably figured, all right, WrestleMania with 80,000 people packed out in Tampa Bay would probably have gotten them plenty of money to make up for that, but you lost that. Then this year I think they'll probably they're going back to Tampa again, because they're supposed to be in LA, but no one wants to touch LA right now because they probably won't have fans for like the next 20 years.
Yeah.
So they're going back to Tampa, and they'll probably wind up getting a similar number to what's at the Super Bowl. But it'd be fun once it comes back. But I think that's the main reason why it folded the second time, because it was fun to watch.
Yeah, also I'm sure sponsors didn't have the money to put up for a league that might not happen, so they probably pulled out. No fans in the stands. And you're right, when you start a business, you're projecting losses for at least 2 or 3 years before you make real money.
Yeah, so I think the fact that like they're gonna lose on that, and then they were gonna lose on the business that's supposed to be profitable in the WWE.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, we'll see if it comes back. Always like more football.
at least we have, as commercials say, we have hockey.
Mhm. Yeah, no Islanders till tomorrow. Tomorrow's packed.
Yeah, Rangers are on tomorrow too, which I wish they weren't, because now I gotta watch 2 games at once with the conference championships and the Rangers.
Hmm.
And then I guess basketball, if you people are into that. We got UFC tonight. Just telling Dave I took that odds boost on McGregor. 25 to win 25.
Is it just for him to win, or does he have to win a certain way?
No, it's just money line.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know they get pretty specific sometimes, like, a knockdown on the 3rd punch of the 7th round
Yeah.
or something like that.
But yeah, bet responsibly, people. We're getting to the wire. Looking forward to these games. Good luck. Good luck, Dave.
Good luck.